think you can see the screen. So everyone can see the screen.
Yes.
See,
Yes, sir.
yeah. See, this is actually our project milestone. Actually, what we have to do. So generally, I will just explain about the first why we need an implementation project. Okay. So because now when it comes to SAP, let's say in last 20 years when they are coming into SAP, I mean in India, so during the period itself, they are expecting minimum 1 year or 3 years. So minimum you should have 1 year experience, so then only you can able to get a job in SAP. So that was the situation. Okay, even though they knows very well, so SAP comes just for 5, not even 5 years, but they are expecting do you have any at least minimum 1 to 2 years experience. So that is what that all the companies they are expecting. So why it is required? So why companies they are expecting? First of all, if you go with other technology like Java, or if you go with with Python or something, yes, they are recruiting for freshers. But here, if you say they are recruiting for 100 people, so 90 people they are recruiting for experienced. Okay, so why? Um yes. So what purpose? SAP. The companies like our top MNC companies. So why they are expecting? So we should have minimum, at least 1 to 2 plus years experience. That is long back, but now they are expecting minimum 3 to 4 years of experience. So the only reason is they are going to outsource you to for the client. Okay, so client expecting, boss, I'm going to implement my SAP, let's say HUL, they are going to implement SAP. So they are expecting the experienced people to implement, right? So let's say for material management or sales and distribution or production planning or finance module or ABAP, right? So they are expecting, do you have any experience? So without experience we cannot able to deliver, right? So their expectation is, because they are investing a crore, in the SAP, and they are expecting the experienced people, they can able to deliver their business process. So that is the expectation. Okay, so none of the companies. So if you say that yes, I know everything, all the configure, I know all the business process and everything, but still not only in India, in all the country the same situations. If you go with Middle East, or if you go with Europe countries, so everywhere they are expecting. So nobody's, you cannot say that I joined as a fresher. So that's what I'm telling, the percentage is very very less. Okay, so for that reason is, so SAP is the, it's a so they are investing in a crore projects, and they are expecting in a experienced consultant who can able to deliver the projects. Okay, so so what is the next, what is the next things which we they are expecting, and from the consultant. Okay, so if you say that in market, if let's say they are attending any interviews or something, you come to know that the first question they are asking, do you have any end-to-end implementation projects? So why they are asking the end-to-end implementation project experience is, so it's like driving a car and getting a license. It's equal to your license, right? So whether you are going to drive in a street, or whether you are going to drive in a city or in a highway, but we need a license. The same case here also, whether do you have any end-to-end implementation project experience? If yes, so then we are eligible to go for the interviews, shortlisting your profiles. Okay, so for the purpose we need a end-to-end implementation projects. Okay, so here I will just explain about that, the project, the consultant, what they do. See, generally if we are implementing any project, so it will take minimum 1 to, based on the project, it will take, some project it will take 2 years also, some projects start with 8 months. So averagely I can say that the project period is 1 year average. So some clients they will go for 8 months or 1.5 or 1.6, averagely it will be 1 year periods. Okay, so this 1 year what they will do in the implementation projects, so that is more important. Okay, so the consultant what they do, right? So the same project, so we are going to implement here. So how it is possible? So because already they are implementing 1 year, but you are giving just for 45 days time, how it is possible? So that is another questions. So let's say in real time, let's say we have a different phases are there. We have a preparation phase, we have explore phase, we have realization phase, deployment phase, right? Run phase. So these are all the now currently S4 HANA we are following activate methodology. So earlier ECC we have a ASAP methodology, correct? So here every phase by phase there are certain deliverables, consultant should do that. right? So maybe the deliverable belongs to functional consultant, maybe the deliverable belongs to technical consultant activity, right? So based on that we need to deliver the projects, on the particular phase by phase. So I'm just giving explanation about every phase. We knows everything, but I'm just giving, what is the deliverables on, every phases. Okay, so let's say talk about the preparation phase. Okay, so what is the preparation phase? So the preparation phase where, we are going to start the project, where the senior most consultant, they are going to have a discussion with the business team, and they are going to prepare those kind of documents. So generally the prepare phase will be done by the senior most consultant. Okay, so who is in who have more than 15-20 years experience in that in their module, so they are going to prepare those kind of documents. Okay, so what are the documents involved in the preparation phase? So preparation phase, we have the, so they will finalize the, understand the organization structure. So let's say they have a 15 entities they have. Let's say even though it's a single company, but they have a 15 different entities are there. Are we going to implement all the 15 entities? So that is the org structures. Okay, so we have to understand what are the organization structure, so which we are going to implement. So that will be comes under the organization. They will finalize that. And next one, it's like a project initiation. Project initiations, again, that is a yeah, project initiations, like a, like it's a kickoff meeting. So kickoff meeting in the sense, once you join in the project. Okay, so everybody will not be joining in the same project, but at least more than 70 to 80 percentage resources will be joined in that period. So they are going to introduce about your customer. Okay, let's say for it's a, let's say we have a sales and distribution team. So what they will do, so let's say there is, who are the user they have, who are the key user, who are the end user, or who are the business users, right? So they are going to interact. So who is my consultant, and who is my teammates, right? So everything will be have a meeting, that either it's offline or online. So nowadays most of the project it's going in online, so these interactions will be there, and they will understand who is my end user or super users. Okay, so after that, so we are going to prepare the, so the scope of the documents will be prepared. Actually the scope of the document is nothing but the complete business process. Okay, so what are the business process, and if there is there any kind of interfaces, I'm going to connect my SAP system to my third party system, or is there any kind of multiple maybe SAP system to another SAP system, are you going to connect, maybe they have different kind of entities which they are going to implement different landscapes. So are you going to connect with any SAP software or any third party system? So these are all the the scope actually, right? So then there is a concept for BPML. So BPML stands for business process master list. What is business process master list? So already we understand the scope. So from the scope we have to prepare the BPML. So before preparing, these are the deliverable document. Okay, these are all the key deliverable documents. So BPML, business process master list. Example, if it is a MM. So let's say in MM, so what is my BPML process? So let's say we have so we will understand how many company codes, we will understand how many plan which we are going to implement. So we are going to understand how many go down, or maybe that the depot or sales ops. So we have, so everything will, based on that, so we are going to we have the presentation. So we have to give a workshop presentation to the customer. Okay, so I have understand your scope, and these are the process currently which you have in SAP. So this is the process which we are going to implement. So this is the SAP process. So this demonstration you have to give it to the customer, right? So once we have given the demonstration, so after that we are going to finalize, are we going to have any kind of are we going to implement our SAP standard best practices, or are we going to do any kind of gap analysis, or how we are going to do this gap analysis, right? So these are all the workshop discussions will be there. So after that we are going to finalize the RISE if. So RISE if, in the sense, we have different type of RISE if, like we called as reports, interfaces, conversion, forms, right, and workflow. So these are all the different type of objects. So generally what we will do in the implementation project, so they have fixed number of objects. So they will say that only 60 numbers of objects only we have to develop. So in these 60 number objects they will finalize. Okay, so one second. Yeah. So in the 60 number of objects, so MM side, so how many objects we are going to develop, and sales and distribution, how many objects we are going to develop, and finance controlling, how many objects we are going to develop. So these are all the initial stage which we have to understand tomorrow. So generally for material management, we have more number of developments compared with another other module. So why? Because here material management is more important, because they are the dealing with external, right, external vendors, and they are going to do all the inventory related transactions. So everything they need some kind of printouts. For example, start with purchase requisition. So some customer will say that no, I want to take a printout of purchase requisition, and some then purchase order is mandatory, because that is external document. We need to take the purchase order printouts. Then after that, once we done the goods receipts, we need to take the printouts of goods receipts. And once we, if we have any kind of returns, again we have to develop a return delivery note or returnable challan, we have to prepare that. And if there is kind of any goods issue, right, so suppose in our project, let's say we have a project system, or we have the plant maintenance, or if we have the production planning, so every um, module, right, so we are going to issue. So once we receive the material, we are going to issue the material to PS, and once we receive the material, we are going to issue to production. Once we receive the material from vendor, we are issuing to maintenance, right? So like, and once we receive the material, we are issued to our cost center. So like that, we have various type of business process, right? So everything we need to record it. So for that, we have to develop the forms. And same thing, like physical inventory activities are there. So while counting the physical inventory, they will say that I want to, while creating the physical inventory, I want to know all the material list, and during the time how much stock was there and what is the price. And after counting, I have to then I have to count it, then I have to post, then I need a reports. So these are all the developments again. So in standard SAP, they have given some report, but still as per our customer requirements, so they will say that my material should have the bin number, and I want to know my material group description. So with material, with quantity, so they have their own template. Maybe they are using some third party system, or maybe they are using some XYZ ERP software, which they are following certain forms, reports. So we need to again, so based on that, we have to design the reports. So then we should understand, so because we are a consultant, right? So we are a consultant, so whatever whatever the requirement customer gives, we should understand, and we have to prepare the specification, functional specifications. What is functional specification here? Anyway, that we will see one by one. So now you understand the preparation phase, what the functional consultant we will do. Okay, so after that, we have the explore phase. Okay, explore phase, where we are going to design our business blueprint. Okay, so this is one of the key deliverables from functional consultant. Okay, so most of the project will stuck up here. Why they will stuck up here? Because there is no good communications. So communication in the sense, your client, they will be in one track, and our project team will be in different track. So we should have synchronized, right? So then they have a deadline. Okay boss, we have to complete our business blueprint, October 15th, they have to complete it. So here during the phase, because we have to deliver some money, let's say 20 to 30% of amount, they have to pay to our implementation company. So that is one of the milestone actually. But for that, the business blueprint, because once we approved, once we get the signature from all the top management, right? So then they cannot say that this is possible or this is not possible. So that is one of the reason. So they are also will scared to put a signature, because they are new to SAP, right? So what, even though the complete business, we are thinking that the business blueprint is Bible, but still there is a possibility they can track a different route. So to avoid that, boss, this is the process which we have already signed. So we cannot able to go the complete customization. Okay, so everything we can able to finalize in your business blueprint phase. Suppose if certain processes require some gap analysis, so that is also we have to discuss here. If you want the gap, if you want to do this customization in your SAP, even though the standard SAP is not accepting or not allowing, so we need to customize. So then if it is required, then we have to understand, analyze your gap analysis. So then we have to discuss, boss, this process has to be customized, and we are going to achieve through kind of program or module pool programs, or we are going to achieve through enhancements. So whatever the rise of objects which is going to fulfill your requirements. So then we have to mention that particular rise of object number also in your business blueprint. So then only they will agree, okay, you are going to take care of this gap in your RISE objects. Okay, so that we need to discuss. And then there is a data migration approaches. Okay, so any idea what is data migration approaches? Maybe someone can answer. We'll go for interactive session. So what is data migration approach? What is data migration first? Yes.
Taking data from non-SAP system to SAP system.
Okay, so data migration is, it's a data from non-SAP system to our SAP system. We are going to upload it, correct? So what are the tools? So which is available in SAP where we can able to upload the data?
LTMC,
LSMW.
LSMW. No two tools.
Yeah. See, actually, yeah.
BDC.
Yeah, we have various type of tools are there. So the LSNW is the very legacy tools, and we have a BDC program, and we have a BAPI program, we have a IDOC, and we have so now in SAP S4 HANA they have introduced LTMC. Okay, so what is the difference between our start with LSMW, BDC, BAPI? So these are all it's a complete it's a traditional tools, right? So what the LTMC which SAP introduced is no need to do any kind of changes in the templates, right? So we have the option, we can able, let's say I want to upload my material master, then we have to create one project, and under the project we have to assign the objects. Okay, which objects we are going to assign, either it is a material master or business partner or purchasing info record or source list or quota arrangement or sales order or whatever. If it is a, it belongs to FI, then if it is a GL master or customer master or vendor master or asset master or bank master, right? So we have to assign the object to the particular project. Then we have to, then SAP itself there is a standard template, right? They have then there is an option you can able to download the templates. So this template which contains all the data, right? So all the data, so you can able to get let's say if it is a material master, basic data, there is one tab, and then there is a plant data, there is another tab, and there is a storage location data, there is another tab. And then we have sales data, another tab. So like that they have given more than 10 to 15 sheets, they are given. That is a XML format, so you cannot able to edit anything, you cannot change anything, because that's a XML file. It looks like your Excel sheet. So it's a pre programmed, everything they have made it. So that template we have to share to customer. So that is during the project we will come to know. So that is the LTMC, the data migration approaches we are going to discuss during the explore phase. Okay, how we are going to upload and what are the master data, and everything we have to discuss actually, but we are not finalized here, but that is the explore phase. We have to make sure, yeah, this is master data we need to upload. Okay, so we have to be get ready for template. Maybe we need to share the template to the customer, so then customer will feed the data and give it back to you. Then you can able to upload this data in your development. Somebody will upload in development system itself for testing purpose. Some client they will upload in quality system, right? So we need to upload this data, because when we do the testing, then we need at least 50% or 75% data should be relevant, right? We should not simply create test 1 2 3 material, test 1 2 3 vendor. We cannot create like that, right? In customer system. So we need their exact customer, we need exact vendor, we need their list of materials. So everything we have to get it from them, then we have to start upload them during the testing. So explore phase we have to finalize, right? So then yeah, so finalize the master data templates, right? So everything we have to finalize here. So then there is the authorization roles and assignments. So anyone can answer what is authorization roles and assignments. So what is this, why it's required?
Yeah, authorization rules are some rules are for end users, some are for managerial, so for approval of a certain process. So SAP allows us to give those roles based on their seniority or managerial position. So those are the authorization rules.
Okay, good. Okay, so authorization roles, without authorization role, because we are a consultant, right? So generally if you are a consultant, they will give you an ID. So this ID which have all the all the access. You can able to configure SD, you can configure to finance, you can configure to all PS, PM, QM, everything, right? So but when it's user we cannot give all the access, correct? so when it's the user, so let's say we'll start about let's say for material management, let's say there is a master data team. So what their role actually? So master data team, so they are going to create material master. So maybe they are going to create a business partner, right? So this master data team is only they are going to create a material master based on the request which they are receiving from their internal team, correct? So we need to assign only those specific, transactions. So creating material and changing material master, display material master, and list of material master reports, and same thing like business partner, create, change, display. So generally in SAP we have only one transaction code for PP, right? And we have a list of customer, vendor, same. So only that specific role we need to assign, right? And one more settings what they will do, that particular user should access only that relevant, that particular organization unit. For example, I have three company codes, right? So every company codes I have a different team who is going to create a master data. Okay, or so in this case the person who is creating, master data, or the person who is creating the requisition or MRP team, or the person who is creating the purchase order, so they should not able to view the purchase order which created from company code, let's say 1001, 2001, 3001. So 1001 company code user should not view 2001 and 2000 3001 company code the transaction, because this is a very secret. Same thing like in Himalaya Drug Company. So when we implemented in Bangalore, Himalaya Drug Company HTC. So they have a different plant actually. They have a plant in Bangalore, and they have a plant in Rishikesh also, I think, nearby. Yeah. So now the Rishikesh plant, what they do? So Bangalore plant, they should not able to see single transaction because completely security. Okay. So even though it's a single entity, but plant to plant they should not see that. The same case again, business to business it will be different, right? So we cannot expect, say some business they will say no, all three not a problem, we can give the access, doesn't matter. But some client they will say that no, you have to restrict it, right? So these are all the authorization objects also we can set it based on the roles. Let's say for master data team, so I have to assign which company code this person can be eligible to create a material master. So what are the material type he can able to create. So everything we can control it apart from the roles, right? Apart from the roles we can able to give the authorization of the organization unit also, right? Fine. So then we have the detailed test planning. So we need to discuss about our test cases and everything. So generally our test cases based on our BPML. Okay, so the test cases, I think everyone knows, right? There are three different type of testing we have, right? So before we do the testing we should know our landscape. So this is again one more important question, or maybe generally they will ask in the interview. So could you tell me the landscape of your SAP? So, so some of them they will not understand what is landscape. So they will say no, this is a three-tier architecture of SAP or something like that. See, landscape is nothing but your servers, right? Your server. So let's say in your company, so they will purchase two different server, right? So one is they will purchase for production, another server they will purchase for your development and quality also. So again, every company they have their templates, right? So they have their own templates. So generally they will do one system, in development system they will create there is one golden development client which we will do all the configurations. Then there is ABAP development client where ABAP will do the right codings and everything. Then there is a testing clients, right? So these three clients will be created under one development server, right? And when it comes to the quality server, so quality server, so we need to create a two different client again. So one is for the testing for consultant. So another another client will be created for testing for our end user. So this is another second server. The third box, right? So the third box will be for your production server. So again, production server, initially they will create one client for pre-production server. Okay, then they will create one production server also. Okay, what is pre-production, what is production? So that is I'll let you know. So first, now we understand the landscape of SAP. We have three different parts, right? One second, someone ping me. Okay, So we have a 3 different server, development server, what all the activity we will do, right? So not only do the configurations, apart from the configurations, what we will do, we have to transfer the request from one client to another client within the box. What is transfer the client, TR from one client to another client? So here generally what we will do in development system, either it is ABAP development or either it is a configuration or workbench request, right? So either it is a configuration request, the functional consultant, whatever a configuration they do, that is called configuration request. Okay, what is workbench request? So workbench request is when we do the ABAP objects. Okay, when we do the ABAP objects, those configurations called as workbench request. Okay, so now these requests we have to move from one client to another client. So again, workbench request concept is different and configuration request concept is different. So every client we need to move the configuration request, whereas workbench request is not required. If the transport request is available in one client in single box, but that there are 3 different client in single box, but it will applicable for all the 3 clients, right? So that is called workbench request. Okay, so again ABAP object, there is a smart form is there. So smart form, it's called as a customized, right? We need to move the smart form to every client. So but whereas if it is a reports you do, so this report once you move, let's say in quality system we have 2 different client, right? So I moved one client, but automatically the TR will be applicable to another client also. But whereas a customization request, you need to move quality system 1, quality system 2, both you have to move it. So okay, so that is the difference actually, right? So that we will understand. So during the project, so we are all you should know that, because they will test you, during the interview. So they might be asking these all the questions: what is configuration request, what is workbench workbench request, so what is the difference, so how you transfer your request from one client to another client, from one server to another server, right? So these are all the questions they will ask. So the explore phase we completed so the scope is finalized in your preparation phase, and explore phase, the main key deliverable is your business blueprint. Okay, so in business blueprint there are 2 different type of business blueprint is there. So generally IBM they implement for PDD document, process definition documents, whereas that maybe other company like a small scale company, they used to go for business blueprint. Okay, what is the difference between business blueprint and the PDD documents, we will explain. Okay, we will come to know during the project. So next is the realization phase. Okay, so now realization phase, we are ready to do the configuration. Okay, so now the landscape will come into the picture, right? So the basis consultant, they will create the where the golden client to do the configuration, where the development client to do the ABAP kind of act. So everything they will create and they will share the credential to you. And so what we will do here is, we have to functional consultant, we need to prepare the KDS. What is KDS? So KDS stands for key data structure, right? Key data structure. What does it contains? So key data structure is nothing but it's complete. It's about your org structure. It's about your master data. It's about your configuration of your purchase requisition. Let's say for I have a 10 different type of material type, which the current client which they are going to implement. 10 different type of material type. So why we need a 10 different type of material type? That is what we have the scope, we have the business blueprint and everything, workshop and everything. So we come to know there are we need to classify the material type as per the customer is. We need a 10 different type of material types. So then we have to understand what are the account category reference for every material type. So how many valuation class they are going to design, maybe one to one or one to many, right? So system will accept, but what about their business? So everything we have to finalize, right? So same thing we have to understand for our business partner, right? So again we have different type of business partner, right? So let's say local vendor or overseas vendor or subcontracting vendor or service vendor or intercompany vendor, right? So there are various type of, again we have to discuss with customer, then come to know that the grouping of the vendor master also, right? So then you have to define the number ranges and everything. Same thing like your purchase requisition, right? Same thing like purchase requisition means, let's say they have a stock item procurement, they have a MRP procurement, so they have a plant maintenance procurement, they have asset procurements, they have a project system procurement, they have a production related procurement. Same thing for sales and distribution, they have a different type of sales process. So either they what we have to study, we have to prepare different type of sales orders, right? So same thing, customer master, they have to, they have to discuss and they have to prepare the customer BP group and the account group, then number ranges, and the different type of sales orders, like domestic sales or export sales or service sales or you know return sales or sir, subsequent, I mean, debit memo or credit memo. So we need to understand what are the process which you know uh, we are going to configure. So that is called KDS, key data structure. So this is again one of the deliverable documents. So once you prepare the KDS, then we have to start the configurations. Okay. So here we have to work for another activity we have to do for the RISE objects. Okay. So there is a functional specification. So there is one sessions will be there. So any session in the sense we will teach you, because most of them they don't know the tables at all, right? So here every transaction, how it's updated in backend, which table, and what is the primary key of the table, and what are the, let's say for material master, every view which contains different tables, there are 10 plus material master tables are there, right? So everything first you have to understand how to execute the tables, right? How to link the table, and what is the field name for the table, and how many characters of the thing. So everything on the practices you have to understand. Okay. And here we will teach you about the functional specification, how to prepare the functional specifications. Okay. So why functional specification is important? Because all the RISE objects we have to develop with help of the functional consultant. Okay. Functional consultant has to give the input to the technical consultant. So based on that only technical consultant, they can start the technical specifications. Okay. So these are the deliverables, because once one second. What happened? Suddenly one person came and gone. Okay. Yeah. See here, why these are the document is required. See, in a generally very small scale company, they are not bothered about the FSTS and all, right? So because but some standard clients, so they will have agreement. Boss, these are all the deliverables required. So once the project is completed, so we need to deliver this document back to your customer. Okay. So again there is a big issue will be there. So you during the time you will say no, we are not preparing, but customer will say that yes, I need all the functional specification, I need all the testing document, I need all the technical specification. Again functional consultant and technical consultant, they will prepare that. So these are all the experience which I had in the small scale companies, right? But whereas in MNC company, this all the documentation is more important. Until and otherwise, if they are not doing any FS, then technical people they will not start, right? So this is the more important, the small scale and MNC companies, right? And so once we done the configuration, so then we will start the configuration document. This is another deliverable document. So again we have a sample document, we will give it to you. So how to prepare the configuration documents, right? Because this is another, it's a key deliverable documents. So we need to prepare the configuration documents, and this document we need to deliver to the customer. Okay. So then we have a okay, so master data objects, all the configuration we have to do that. Then there is a data readiness in testing environments. Okay, what is data readiness in testing environment? So here already we discussed about our um data migration, right? So we need to make sure, before we are going to, why the data readiness is required in quality system is the testing phase, right? During the testing phase, we have a multiple type of testing is there. Unit testings, right? So based on your business BPML process, we have to check whether all the process we it's working without any error. So right, let's say we have intercompany process, we have intra-company process, whether this process we configured or not, whether it is working or not, just make it one testing documents, right? So that is our consultant job. So next there is a integration testing. So what is integration testing? So between the cross modules, right? So let's say production, I can say one best example for integration testing is there is a make to order process. So let's say the customer is requesting for their own configuration of the material, right? Let's say the bicycle, I need some customization. So they will give the enquiry, and company send the quotation, and the customer will accept the quotation. Then they will create the sales order. So based on the sales order, they will create a production team. They will create a bill of material, work center, routing, right? So then sales order created, then they will run the MRP. So this is the process, right? So sales team, they are create the sales order, then comes to the production team, they run the MRP, then generate the purchase requisition as well as the planned order. So why planned order, why purchase requisition? So based on the bill of material, system will generate, right? If the material shortages, then your purchase requisition will be generated for our external vendor, right? So then MM team, what they will do, they will procure the material, right? So then there is approval process, then everything, then they'll get the stock into inventory, and then they will issue the material to the shop floor, right? So after that, production team, they are going to do the assembly, maybe any coating, any subcontracting activity, anything is that they will do that. So then they are going to bring the stock into the finished goods locations, right? So now customer, sales team, they will be waiting for the stock. Okay, so as per that, the lead time, so the stock is available, then they will start the delivery, then they will start the PGI, then they will create a invoice, then customer will do the payment to the company, correct? So now if you see, almost all the module is covered here. So now until and otherwise, if you are not doing any testing, so no one can confirm that this process is working perfectly, right? So sales team, they have to make sure whether document type, their number ranges, their GL accounts during the PGI, whether COGS account, and as well as the the stock account, whether it is the correct GL account is posting. So that is one of the key parts. So then once they deliver the goods to their customer, whether their customer account as well as the sales account, whether it's getting correctly. So again, finance consultant has to verify this. So when it comes to yes, production team, the same cases, right? So whether they are generating the right production order document type, then serial number is generating correctly, and so whether we issue the material to the production, whether it is consuming, so the raw material is going to consume to the respective accounting key as well as the the right GL account. So when it comes to production, purchase team, then whether the purchase requisition is generated to the respective PR document type and the number ranges is correct, and whether the purchase order document type, the number ranges are, the approval process, whether who are the person is going to approve your purchase requisition, and who are the manager, let's say for your team leader, or general manager, or finance manager, or CEO. So based on the value, or based on the type of material, based on the document type, based on the organization units, the rest, right, uh, person is approved, right? So everything we have to cross verify, right? And then we receive the material, then we are issuing to the production team whether the inventory, during the goods received, what is the accounting impacts, right? While issue the material to the production, what is the accounting impacts, what is the GL account, what is the accounting key, everything. So we need to be verified, correct? So then only the one process will be completed. Like that, there are so many processes, right? So generally, if we are implementing SAP, not only for SD module, not only for MM module, not only for PP module, right? It will for all the modules. So we have to test all the process. It's called integration testing, right? This is called integration testing. So in the integration testing only, they mentioned here the data readiness in testing environment. So before we are going to run the cycle, if there is no vendor, there is no customer, there is no material, what is the use of running the system? Whether customer will agree? No, correct? So we need the respect, at least that's what I told initially. Minimum 60 to 75% relevant data should be there in your quality system, right? So how you are going to upload? So that already we have seen the tool. So what is the tool which you are going to upload? That's the readiness of your master data, and the templates, right? The data migration approaches, everything we discussed in the pre-phases. Okay. So now testing phases, I already explained the unit testings. All the process has to be tested by individual consultant. Then you have to prepare the documentation, that is called unit testing. And integration testing will be done by the cross module consultant, right? Cross module consultant in the sense, start with SD. This is one of the process, make to order process. Same thing like let's say project system, right? They need a material, so they are creating a WBS. They are releasing the WBS. Now MRP, they are running the MRP. Requisition is creating. We are run the production. We are getting the material from the external vendor. Then issue to the project system, right? Then their confirmation, they are confirming the order, right? So now again this activity will be rolling with PS, MM, and FI, right? And same thing like a maintenance team. Okay, what maintenance team they will do? They have some machine, they want to do the repair and services or something, right? So then they will create a maintenance order. So now there is some spot is like some parts, spare parts is we need to send outside to get the services. Then we have to get it from then get it inside. Then we have to fit it. Then this activity start with your maintenance order, then purchase requisition, then purchase order, then sending some component to external vendor, then they are going to do some kind of maintenance, they are going to do some services, then we receive the material. So again, this all the activity you have to perform either PM, MM, and FICO, correct? Same thing like our intra-company stock transfer from one company. Let's say in UAE, they are going to manufacture and they are going to supply to the African country. Let's say in African country, they have another business unit. So how the intercompany process it works, right? So again we have to do the testing, right, between again say MM and SD and FICO. So like that there are so many processes are there, right? So I'm just giving just sample one process, right? So all the process have to be implemented, we have to be tested, then we have to be agreed from the customer, because generally the GL account, everything has to be corrected by our FICO consultant from the business team. Okay. So next, there is authorization roles, right? Authorization roles we already discussed in the QS system, because in the quality, why we are fixing in the quality system? So because authorization role will be fixing in the production system, right? So why they are fixing in quality system? Because all the consultant, they have to do the testing in our quality system. So we need to make sure it's a trial whether this person can able to work only his respective roles, or his respective transaction, or his respective reports only he can able to view. So everything we will do one more roles level testing we do here. Okay. And training material readiness. Okay, what is training material readiness? So here our quality system is ready. So before that we have a configuration is ready, testing is ready. So now we need to prepare the training materials, right? So why training material is required? So that is the reason. See, most of the trainees, I'm frankly telling, they don't know how to prepare the documentation, right? So if you see in our training, I think maybe I think Gagan is there. He prepared actually some of the, he's also working and doing multiple activity, but still he's spending some time and preparing the documents. So he's sending very beautiful documents. I'm receiving from him, right? So this documentation is more important, right? If you learn from anyone, I'm not saying that nobody's perfect, but we need to prepare the documentation. That is more important, especially in implementation project. The consultant should prepare the documentation, should be more meaningful, right? So here the training material we have to prepare. What is the training material? Why we need to prepare? To whom we have to prepare, right? So this activity for our user acceptance testing, end user acceptance testing. Okay, so why this training material is required? So because generally the user, he doesn't know about your transaction. He didn't seen your SAP screen at all, and how he will do the transaction, how he will do creating the master data, right? So how he will approve your purchase order, or how he will create the sales order, right? So for the purpose, we need to create a training material for each and every transaction. You have to prepare the training materials, right? So once then we have to share to the customer, then your business team, then they will go through that. Then we have a user acceptance testing. There is a UAT plan, right? Boss, your master data has to be completed this week, and your all let's say you have a 10 P2P process. Let's say we will plan it every P2P process. We have to plan the date, time, and who is the user is going to perform the testing and everything, right? And again, there is a solution manager will be there. So we will all the test cases you have to implement in your solution manager. Something will be success, test will be success, failure, error, dumb. So everything we have to record it. So then we have to reconfigure it. Some issue we have to raise to our SAP to get the solution to implement, right? So there are so many things. So consultant means you should know everything, right? So you cannot say that, boss, this is not my work. So yeah, you should, that's all the border you should touch. You should know about integration of MM and SD. You should know the integration of MM and PP. You should know the integration of MM and PM. You should know the integration of MM and PS, right? So material management is more important, right? So because in market there are so many opportunities compared with other model, because all the industry they are going without procurement, there is no any kind of project, right? So some of the industry, no project system, no production, but your procurement will be there, right? So 100% your MO module procurement will be, maybe the HCM system, HR management, they will not be implemented. Most out of 10, 7 project, 8 project, they will not implement HR. So but these are all the core module is required. Okay. So next one is like a cutover activities. Okay, what is cutover activities? So this is again more important, right? So already we have prepared the data migration approach and everything, right? So now the cutover plan. Okay, so when we are going to, first we have to fix the go live. So whether April 1st or whether it is a September 1st or January 1st. So that is a discussion, right? So customer and our company, we have to discussion, we have to do the discussion. So when we have to do the go live, so we have to first we have to fix that. So then we have to take the back dates from the go live dates. Okay, so we need cutover activities for 20 days or 30 days, right? They will plan it. So they will plan for module wise they will plan the strategy. Okay, first they have to upload. Again, this is one of the interview questions also. If you see cutover activities, they will ask, could you just tell about your cutover activities and what are the master data that you uploaded and what is the tool you are using and how many days you have uploaded, your material master, and what is the volume of material. Could you tell me about your material, what are the material which you have uploaded? See how you will answer. Until if you don't have this kind of implementation project exposure, how you can able to answer? Simply you cannot say that, sir, I have uploaded 5,000 material. You tell me, okay, what kind of material those 5,000? Again, that is another question, right? So you should know. Until and otherwise, if you are not working in implementation project, you cannot able to answer. Simply you can say, yes, I worked in blueprint, I worked in configuration testing and all. But if they are specifically, if they are touching one point, you cannot able to answer, right? So that is the reason. So that the 1 year project we are giving in 45 days time with all the deliverables, right? So let's say for we are uploading for 50,000 materials, right? So we need to understand what are those 50,000 materials and what type of materials, right? So everything we have to explain here, right? So this cutover plan we have to discuss, right? Material master, how much days, what is the volume of material, right? So based on that only we can able to give the date, date, right? Maybe it will take 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. Then let's say for business partner, right? So how many business partner we have, 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000, right? So we need to then only you can give the date, right? Same thing like a open purchase order or open contract. So what is the volume of contract, what is the volume of purchase order? Then same thing, then initial stock upload, right? So how much raw material, how much our mechanical item or base material or tubes or tires or whatever the type of material which you have and finalized in your project. So we have to make sure the type of materials also, the volume of materials, right? So then let's say if I talk about sales and distribution, we have to understand the list of customer and what are the account groups which we have studied. Again they will ask what are the different type of customer which you have configured, which you have identified, right? So these are all we have to answer, because we need one basement of one implementation projects, and this information we have collected from customer and we uploaded. So and then only we can able to explain yourself. Yes, customer master, we have this many type of customers we have, right? We have one time customer, we have uh, a overseas customer, we have a local customer, or we have a service customers, or we see. That's what, again the project only will understand those kind of requirements, right? So then same thing for finance also. We have a GL master, we have a customer master, vendor master, asset master, bank master, everything we have to plan. Then we have to upload all the GL balance. Again, as a FICO also is more complex in this area, right? So all the balances we have to upload, customer balance and vendor balance or customer asset balance. So everything we need to upload here. That is more asset balance and all. It's not easy. It's very hectic, right? So then test results, right? Test execution. So I already told we have 3 different type of testing, right? Again they will ask you what is this integration testing, what is the user acceptance testing, who will do, which client you will do, which server you will do, right? So everything will come to know during the implementation projects, right? So then there is a Q gate. Yes, everything is fine. Then there is a project management activity. So they will verify yes. Then they will put down invoice, get the percentage of amount, right? So then we'll go for the deployment phase. Okay, what is deployment phase? So here only we are going to final cutover. We have to see already in quality system we have done. So now we do in production system, right? In production system, so we are going to upload, right? So all the master data, all the open items, all the open purchase orders or open sales order or everything we are going to upload here. So perform cutover, mock, rehearsal. See, that's what I told. There are 2 different type of system in production. Again, one is pre-production, one is production. So why they have 2 different system? So definitely we will fail some of the data, some duplication or some possibilities there. So they will put it, everything, do it in your pre-production. And whatever mistake you done, you correct it, then do properly in your production system. Okay, so that is the reason we have 2 different client again in production server. Then master data migration. What is master data migration? Already we discussed, right? So we are going to upload your master data, legacy data we are going to upload, and cut our opening balance, right? Already we discussed. So now end user training, everything should be in your quality system, right? So then again Q gates. So once we're done the deployment, your activity, all the activities is completed, right? Your configuration is done, your testing is done, your master data uploaded, everything is done, right? So next we have to go for the go live phase. Okay, what we will do in go live? What is go live? Who will do? So go live in the sense they will make sure, right? So there is a pre-go live activities. Okay, pre-go live activities are there. Again, that is more important. So let's say they will say that yes, we are going to, let's say first January we are going to do go live. Then the whole department managers, everybody will be there in their big hall. And in most of the client they will get failed to run first transaction because of this pre-go live activity issues, right? So it's there is no seriousness. Some client they will say, yeah, I done. They will execute some purchase requisition, then it will go dump. It will go dump. So this is again one of the crucial activity. So we should make sure all your configuration is moved to production system, or all the objects which the ABAP are done, it is moved to production system. Because once you created the purchase order, let's say they are running on go live activity, let's say start production order, you are running MRP, then you are creating purchase order, then you are taking the printouts, right? Then they have to put a signature. They will show, yes, my first purchase order is creator, my first sales order is creator, right? So during that time your printout should work. So unfortunately some object, not even smart form you moved, but in between you are using some kind of what you called, there is some sub functional module, right? So let's say the font purpose, you have some kind of functional modules are there, you didn't move that, so at the time again your system will go for dump. So that is the reason, because you cannot test it in production system, right? So it's a live data, right, where you cannot able to create any dummy transaction. Also it's a live transaction, but the first transaction it should work perfectly, right? So everything we called as a pre-go live activity, that is more important, right? So once we're done, then yes, we will have a go live celebration. Then the day onwards, they will start their business activities in our SAP system, right? So this is, I'm just explaining about the overall our SAP consultant, what they will do. So in our project also the same template, it's a 1 year project. I understood we cannot able to do it 45 days time, but still we made in 45 days time frame we have planned, and we are going to implement our project in 45 days time. So we will make sure that after completion of this project 100% you will get the same exposure, right? So there is no any, see, in real time they are going to do your business blueprint 3 months, so I'm going to make it in a week time, right? So end of the day, so all the deliverables we are covering here, we are not missing any activity. So all the activity, all the deliverables, every documents, right? So there are 15 plus deliverables are there. So every document start with pre-project, BPML, and business, everything we have a separate folder, you have to create it, then you have to prepare the documentation, then you can able to keep all the documents, right? So again, these documents very helpful for you. Maybe after 1 year or 2 year or 3 year you are going to work in implementation project, so during the time this document is more, so you cannot get any single document from anyone. Nobody will give, even though he is your friend, he will not share the document. That is what the industry, right? Maybe in the project also, the previous project guy, and if you are asking some document, no, I cannot share the document, because for them that is asset, right? So the complete documents will be getting, so you are preparing, you are validating, right? One second. So this document is more important again. So once you have this kind of documents, then you can able to, first thing, you can able easily, you can get a job. And second, once you get a job easily, you can handle the project without any hesitation. Okay, no need to I put some experience, but whether I can able to handle the project or not, those kind of scareness is no need to worry about that, right? So everything, so this document is bible, and you can keep it for, we are following our SAP global template. Okay, so this document we are using for SAP global template. You can keep this document, and you can able to use it for your upcoming implementation project. And if you have an implementation project opportunity, so no need to worry about that, whether how I'm going to implement with the client, whether I'm a suitable for that, or whether no need to worry about that. Okay, that is the exposure we are giving here, right? So start with scope and the business blueprint, or the configuration, testing, cutover, and everything, master data, all the everything we are covering here. So 100% you will get the exposure here. Anyway, I'll show some sample cases here. So start with there is a P2B. So these are all the deliverable actually. before that I will show you here. So what is the activity here we are going to do that. So there is a pre-project deliverables. Okay, so even you are a FICO consultant or SD consultant or ABAP consultant, right? So we are going to give some, at least minimum 10 process. So here they have given 27 process. 27 process, even though the project is starts, maybe tomorrow we are starting the project, simultaneously you have to run, because some of them already joined the project, so they are already executing the process. So some of them they are newly joined because they don't know the new system, right? So they might not execute it, right? So they have to run the process, right? So this is one of the deliverable. Then workshop document is there, so you have to complete the workshop document and you have to get the updates. Then we have a business blueprint. I told you that is a PDD documents, right? So how many process is there? Then automatic account determination, whether your org structure is completed. Then what are the list of material type? So these are all the deliverables I'm just showing here. So you will be completing this activity during the projects. And they have given the list of process also. If you are a MM consultant, so they will give all the list of process you have to execute, right? Then if you are a FICO consultant, again they are giving all the process they are going to give, you have to execute. These are the pre-project activities. Okay, so this is one of the sample BPML documents. Okay, what is BPML? Already I explained you, right? So we have a business process master list. So here we have to understand what are the business process which we are going to implement, right? So based on that you have to prepare this document. So this is the test unit test also we are going to do based on your BPML process only. So here all the step by step process, everything is there. So they have various type of MM process. Same thing, they have SD module also. The document, this is one of the most important deliverable document. Okay, so same thing for FICO, same thing for SD module. So we have the BPML documents, right? So once we done the BPML documents, so then only so we can able to complete your business blueprint, right? So next we have the RISIP objects. Okay, so what is the RISIP objects? So already we discussed about what all the forms, reports, enhancement, everything we are going to do. So everything we are going to understand, right? So here who is the functional consultant and who is the technical consultant, we are going to assign the object. So functional consultant, they have to start the functional specification. So initially we don't know how to prepare FS, right? How I have to write a logic, because it's something technically we have to write down, right? What is the table and what is the field and what information you are passing and what is the work, what is the internal table you are passing and what is the condition and what is the output you are getting from the table. Then step number 2 what you do, step number 3 what you do. So these are all, it's a kind of again we will provide the training during the implementation project session. So then only you can able to prepare the document, right? So yeah, so here we have to understand what are the forms, what are the reports, what are the enhancement, what are the conversion, what are the workflow. So all the objects we are going to finalize, then we are going to assign to the individual consultant. Okay, so this is again one of the key deliverables, right? So because all most of the interview questions also belongs to your they will say what is the complex scenario which you faced or what are the enhancements which you have done. So these are all the general interview questions. Until and otherwise if you are not doing so this RISIP object, so you cannot able to deliver it, right? So we have given some interview questions also. So we have yeah, so we have interview questions like we have 200 300 questions we have given. So this is, yeah, so these interview questions again you have to prepare this simultaneously. So we are not, there is a support project we have, but support project, that's a 3-month support project also we are conducting. But this activities is a kind of the support projects, or maybe this is the interview point of view. This question we will assign to individual consultant, then you have to prepare. So maybe daily 4 to 5 support tickets, or you have to prepare the document, then you have to share. This is one of the deliverable document during the projects. Okay, and then we have the real-time issues. So what are the real-time issues which you are facing, right? So how to configure it, how to make a mandatory field, how to generate the transaction with customer requirements. Let's say I want to create my purchase requisition. I have to, let's say I'm procuring asset material, so I need to make sure whether this asset I'm going to procure for new asset or old asset. I have to specify something, then I have to make mandatory about some text fields, right? So these are all some kind of enhancements. So everything we will give some requirements, you have to do this kind of the real-time issues also, right? So there are a lot of issues are there, maybe. Yeah, this is one of the activity you will be doing that. Okay, See, end of the projects, what we will do, I just explained already the milestone. So we are going to cover all the deliverable documents. Okay. So end of the day, we are going to cover. I'm just giving sample what we are going to do that. So when it comes to the real time, so how many process, how many workshop documents, and how how the BPM, what all the business process, right? So everything, all the document will be done by you. So we are not doing anything on that. Just we are going to guiding you. We are sharing the template. You are going to prepare the document. You are going to prepare the workshop document. You are preparing the business flow diagrams. Let's say when it comes to business blueprint, it's a very big activity, right? Simply you cannot write down. You have to understand what is the current business. Every process you have to make sure what is the current process, what is our SAP process, and what is the business flow diagram, and what is the roles and what is the roles which we are going to use, and what are the standard reports which we are using, and what are the integrations which we are going to do, and what is the gap analysis. Everything we have to prepare in single business blueprint document. Okay, so
Dhanush, I have some questions. If is a question answer section started? Can I go ahead?
yes, please.
Yeah. So let's say we are kicking the project, kicking it off from tomorrow, and we will do first session, second session as requirement gathering workshops. So do we get the already defined requirements in a template, or we will have some kind of a session where we will ask the predefined questions? So we will have an idea, what to ask from your end user or from the stakeholders, what kind of questions based on MM or SD, or and then we will come up with a list of requirements, or you will give us a list of requirement from your previous project.
Yeah, see, actually, yes, it's a good question. See, generally, we have the scope actually, right? So based on the scope, what we will do, so we are going to do the workshop. So this workshop is going to cover, our, the SAP process. So we have the sample templates, and this template, we have to prepare all the business process, and based on your scope, then we have to have a workshop to that individual team. Let's say if it is belongs to purchase, then you have to meet with purchase team. Then if it is inventory or if it is MRP, right? So based on that, we
Right.
have to discuss based on the scope only. And here another model, so another model, whatever you said, like there is a templates, right? So there are set of questions, let's say there are 100 plus questions, right? So they will have questionnaires, and these questionnaires also we are going to raise in front of them, right? So but actually generally this will be in a prepare phase actually, right? So then only they will come to know the scope. So generally this will be done in preparation phase, done by the senior most consultant, and based on that they are preparing the scope, right? So based on the scope, see, everything is a linking, right? So based on the scope we are preparing the BPML, based on the BPML we are preparing the business blueprint, based on the blueprint we are preparing the KDS, based on the KDS we are going to do configuration, based on that unit testing, integration testing, user acceptance testing, cutover activity, roles and authorization, everything will be linking. So
Yes, but the first thing is the requirement gathering. We need to know the requirement. But if the scope is already defined,
yeah,
then of course, so if the scope is defined, then there will be no fit gap analysis either, right?
fit gap analysis. Yeah, so fit gap analysis again, that is after scope actually there is a fit gap analysis is there. So that is what we called as a workshop document. That is a workshop.
Or
So
that's a workshop. So we will have a list of requirements, and on those lists that will be our scope, and we will do the fit gap analysis, which of course you will tell us, because most of us, I don't know, at least I have the knowledge of SD, but it's not in depth because I never work on an SD project, so I would not know by looking at the requirement whether it's a fit or it's a gap. So how exactly do you do for like a new consultant? What approach do they need? I mean, are we going to discuss that as well? That this is, if it's this, then it's fit. If it's this, then it's, or it comes with the experience.
Yeah, see, actually, yeah, one second.